Welcome to Into the Radius on MetaQuest. In this video, we're going to be doing the first mission after the tutorial, and I'm going to be pointing out some tips and tricks along the way. I've played through the PCVR version 1.0, PCVR version 2.0, and I've also played through the closed beta for this current MetaQuest version. Before we get started though, take a minute to click the S in the corner to subscribe. Heading for 25,000 subscribers, it would be fantastic to have you on the team. Also like, share, leave a comment, let me know what you think of the video or the game or any tips or tricks you have for Into the Radius. If you're not familiar with Into the Radius, it's based on a 1972 Russian science fiction novel entitled Roadside Picnic. I recommend you check it out. Now, this is your base. When you start the game, there are some random supplies in your base, so it's worth looking around in the drawers and such. I think we have a flashlight in our pack. We are going to move that to our side pouch here. When the frame of the container turns green, that means you can let go and whatever you were holding will stay in the pack or in your pouch. And these are your magazine pouches. You also have slots on your body. I like to keep a knife on each arm and probes on my chest. And on the other side of my chest, I usually keep a detector, but I haven't found a detector yet. We have more magazines here for the PM, which is the weapon you start with. So we'll put those there. We'll put these here too. And this is our ammo for the PM. So we're going to hold the magazine to the box and that's going to fill it up. Round by round. Okay. So that's going to go back in here. This is a med injector. We're going to put that in the side pouch. That's for our health. This is for our stamina. And you can hang things out of the pack like that and it makes for easy access. The pack can get pretty cluttered as you pick up loot. Now the red bar of dots is our health and the blue is our stamina. We also have our protection against gases, which is the radiation symbol, and our protection against attacks, which is the shield symbol. We don't have any of either because you either need a gas mask, body armor, or a helmet to get those up, and we're not going to get those items for a while. So we have another box of ammo. We'll put it there, and we'll continue to look around the base before we head out. Here's another med injector. I like to stack them up on my side pouch there for easy access. There's really no downside to that. There's another PM there which we could sell. Another med injector here, just hanging around. We still need to find a detector, which is rather odd. Because we definitely need one. Let's just see if we can open this drawer. Sometimes the grabs can be a bit tricky. So we've taken on the first mission. It's listed as in progress. You can take on up to 5 missions at a time, and I suggest that you plan them beforehand on the map here on the wall. This one is 1,500 credits or dollars as a reward, plus 1 security level, and that's in Pervomay route, which is the first map here. This is our base, the greenhouse, and that's our target M1. We also have a warehouse and a train yard up here, as well as a couple other features on this first map. As you progress through the game, you unlock other maps, or missions on other maps. You can actually go to these maps right away, but without the proper gear, you will get slaughtered. So, let's check our safety there. Drop the magazine out while we're at it. There we go. So, weapon is live. What do we have over here? We have a tape. You can play tapes in the computer over here. And they're going to give you information about the enemies in the zone. So let's have a look around, see if we can find a detector. We don't have one in our pack, do we? No. I'm not sure how many changes there have been since the beta. They did make a bunch of changes right at the end of the beta to some of the controls. So we don't even have security level 1, so we can't actually buy that detector, which is curious. I have a feeling the lack of detector, maybe some sort of oversight, or I didn't pick it up in the tutorial or something like that. So if you come across a detector in the tutorial, I suggest you pick it up. I kind of ran through the tutorial because I didn't think it mattered, and I thought there was an extra detector in the base here, because we definitely need one for this first mission. So first mission, we basically have to head out and take out a bunch of enemies at this first little encampment. That's what M1 is. That's mission 1. Let's just look around out here. We've got another flashlight. We've got the gun range over to this side. And we're just going to head out and pick up a detector out there, I guess. Hopefully there's one in that first area. Let's go read over our mission. We have our portable map here and the tide counter. We've got 4 days, 3 hours, and 51 minutes on the tide. Now, when that counter reaches 0, all of the enemies respawn on all the maps. And if you're caught on a map when that reaches 0, you are teleported to a random spot on the outskirts of the map that you're on. So, when you're planning your missions, you want to try to get them done within the same tide, because if you've cleared out, say, an entire map of enemies, that makes it a lot easier to complete the missions on that map. So we are heading into Pervomay, and we're going to try to go to M1, and we are going to bring the bracelet back. So we don't actually need a detector to find the bracelet. That'll just be the watch or wristband of a previous explorer. So our weapon is the PM, which is not so good. We don't have a lot of ammo for it either. And we also have our knives. So there are 3 entrances and exits from the zone, and you unlock these ones on the sides from other maps. You have to travel to that map, and then I believe there's a blue or green house or marker on the outskirts, and that would indicate one of the paths back to here or the other side. But this path in the center takes us to Pervomay route, and that's where we're going to do most of the stuff at the beginning of the game. I'm going to drop a save before we head into the zone. It's always a good idea. Now, you have 4 profiles, and you can actually use all of those profiles for one playthrough. What you would do to save in a new profile is go to Save Game, and then hit this profile button to go to the profile menu. Then you can choose a different profile, and you'll have more slots available. But we're not going to do that right now. We've saved. We're going to head into Pervomay route. So the vast majority of enemies that you're going to see in the game, especially through the early parts, are these squid-like entities. Black spider slash squid-like, and they are known as spawns. You're also going to see kind of lanky humanoid entities, and those are known as fragments. If they're black in color, like this one coming towards us now, that's a fragment. If they are translucent, barely visible, that can be referred to as a phantom. Now you want to keep an eye on things like the fragments, but don't engage them until they're pretty close, because a spawn, those little spider things, might come running in at you while you're focused on the fragment. These are just statues that are going to give you stories when you knock them.
Just got the new coil installed. Should work all right. Gotta lock the thing up before some sneaky bastard breaks in.
You can save ammo by throwing knives,
Where did the
but
key go?
it's pretty hard to aim. Now, for fragments, you want to aim for center mass, and if you can, stab the core. If you don't destroy that core fast enough, the fragment will reform. So you can shoot the core too, but if you want to save ammo, which can be scarce in this game, then stabbing the core is one way to do it. And personally, I like to try to stab spawns depending on the area. Looks like we've got another fragment up there. That sound, there was an audio cue there that sounded like a spawn. It's kind of like a swishing noise. I don't hear it now, I just hear the footsteps of the fragment. But basically, if you hear something, it's bad news. And you want to pay attention to that. Okay. That warping sound is this anomaly here, but I do hear the sound of a spawn. Chances are it can't get to us though, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. We have some shotgun ammo and another knife. This game is very much about picking up the loot and selling it. There is a bracelet, I think. That's what we came for. So, snack bar and some cigarettes. You can smoke cigarettes in the game. They reduce your health and give you a stamina boost. This is Katia.
Help me, please. That wasn't really me, just an image. I'm trapped somewhere terrible. I don't know where, just that it's dark here, and I can't move. I'm so sick of this place, whatever it is. My name's Katia, by the way. I'm so glad I found you. Finally, I'm not alone.
Now, something's over there. It's probably another fragment. Now, we picked up that bracelet. Oh, there's a spawn. So I'm going to get my knives. When it gets close, I'm going to start strafing. And then when it jumps like that, I'm going to rush up to it and stab it as many times as I can until it dies. There's a bunch of ways you can back up and try to stab forward. Personally, I like to strafe and then hit them when they're on the ground after they've made their attempt. Now, your weapons have condition, and that condition will degrade, and then the weapon will, in the case of knives, they will just break and disappear. Now, for the sake of this video, I'm going to keep going here in the zone. It's only 11 a.m. You don't really want to be caught in the zone after dark, but we got time, so we're gonna maybe find some more enemies. Now, I said there were 3 enemies that you usually deal with in early game. So you've seen the fragments. You've seen the spawns. The other enemy is the mimic, which is kind of like a silhouette of a human, either a policeman or a commando. There's various types of mimics. And we're going to see if we can head into the warehouse area of the map and maybe pick up a new weapon for ourselves. But we did pick up the bracelet, I think, and you're going to want to check your missions to make sure that you've accomplished them. So we've got a check mark, and it says primary objective 1 of 1. So we've completed that mission, or we have the object to complete that mission. So looking at the map again, these blue things are safe houses. You can go and sleep in there for refuge. You can't sleep anywhere in the zone. You have to sleep in a safe house where there's a bed. And yeah, it's the green houses that are paths back to your base. Okay, there's a crate up there. We'll get that on our way back because we're going to pass back through here. There's, I think, another crate in this shed here. And there's going to be a bunch of spawns, maybe 2 spawns and 2 fragments on this ridge here. And we may see some more down there that might come in. I don't know how much they've changed. So there's a spawn. It's going to come running towards us. Again, we're just going to strafe when it gets about there. It's going to jump. And we're going to stab it. I'm going to keep these knives out because the spawns are quick. And here it's just fragments other than spawns to worry about. And they're pretty slow. I hear another spawn, although I don't see it yet. It's over there, and there's a fragment. So that spawn will get here if it's not stuck. Sometimes they get hung up on the terrain, which seems to be the case with that one. Just have a look in here. Oh, there used to be a crate there. Those canisters are explodables. That spawn looks stuck at the moment, but it may come unstuck. So we've got 2 fragments coming in, and our weapon is not suppressed. So we may get some other enemies coming in based on the noise we're making. Okay, so we're going to change out that magazine. And I leave a magazine slot empty on my belt. Oh, it's stuck in an anomaly, so we'll just leave it. So that when we're changing magazines, I can put the empty in that slot. So over there on that complex, I see a mimic, but we're not going over there, so you don't have to worry about it. But there is likely to be a mimic or 2 in this warehouse complex. There's a fragment in the distance. There's probably a fragment over here too. There are some propane canisters in this warehouse, so that's a good way to conserve ammo as well. We're not going to deal with this crater and gas formation over there. That's for a later mission. Up there on the hill is safe house, this safe house here. And that sound, that crackling sound, that's what's called a rift. It's like a splotchy black mass, and that spawns enemies. So when you hear a rift, you want to take it out as one of the first things you do, because any enemies that you kill, the rift will respawn. Okay, now I don't have to kill enemies in here necessarily if I can get where I want to go, which is on top of these red containers. Because there's something on top of this one I would like. think maybe up there, but let's have a look around. Things can get kind of nasty here pretty quick. If you can climb, you'll see a little white dot. The mimics will start to shoot at us. Okay. Okay, we got onto here. So you can see there is, do we have to drop onto that from this one? We may have to go up there to get on there. It seems like the layout's changed. Okay, that fragment's coming over. But that's not a big deal. Let's head up here if we can. Doesn't seem like we can. How do we get up onto this container now? Okay, let's go back over here. We'll get this and this. It's pretty close. That is going to attract the mimics, I would think. There's another fragment there that's looking over. Let's see if we can get back up here. Otherwise, we'll try to reach that weapon some other way, I would think. Unless we can get over there. They made it much more difficult. Okay, we're gonna move out here because I hear a spawn coming in. We're gonna grab our knives. You gotta know when to squat up. Okay, it's gonna take another jump at us. And that fragment's gonna be coming out. And we are going to go take out that rift, because at this point we're taking too long and that rift is going to continue to spawn. There's a mimic right there. I can hit that canister. Okay. That was a mimic. Thankfully, we got the canister to take him out, but we want to get the rift, which is right there. Something else is coming over. Just another fragment, that's fine. So, can we get up over here? Okay, so this is the way they want us to go to get onto that tank. This is a shard. It's just a sellable, really. We should be able to make this with a sprint. Yeah. And here we've got a Glock, which we're going to put in our pack. We're going to clean that up, and that'll be our new primary. Did I lose both my knives? I think I did, so. Let's blow the canister on this one. Save ammo that way, hopefully. Didn't really save ammo. And since we already cleared this area, we can look in these warehouses for some loot. We got some food over there. Nothing in these crates. These black grass-like things are anomalies that will hurt you unless you shine a light on them, which makes them recede, and then you can go through. This is a flare. I never really use flares in this game. but they will light up the place. They can come in handy if you get caught out at night. Okay, what's that? We've got some food and some shotgun ammo. There are a bunch of shotguns to find early in the game in these first few areas, and they are great for just running up and ending mimics. There's another flashlight. Let's check the time. It is getting late. Med injector. Our health is good. Our stamina is good. Cigarettes. Shotgun slugs. Got an energy drink here. Put that with the food. Random magazine, so we'll take that. You end up building up a lot of random items, and maybe you'll end up getting that weapon to go with the magazine, and maybe you won't, but you can always sell it. Okay, so we cleared out the warehouses. We can also go into this building and that building. We're going to try to be quick because it will get dark soon. There's a lot of those wispy anomalies. You can spend a lot of time going through these locations and getting loot. It's up to you to decide whether it's worth it or not. I find there are kind of high ticket items, and those items are usually not found in cupboards or drawers or anything. You're going to want to look for these little tripod things that are weather stations, folders of documents, this is a spotting scope. That is a usable item in the game. I never use it though. Early game, you probably do want to pick up the cans of food because you need to, you know, build up a store for yourself. Okay, let's see if we can get into this room without getting damage from the anomalies. We've got another flare. I don't know if these flares work on these anomalies. I doubt it. I'm actually surprised we didn't take any damage there. There's a sound that kind of sounds like a spawn. Here's another tape of intel or lore, so we'll grab that. Alright, there we just took some damage because we didn't spend enough time clearing those anomalies. And let's head out. So for fighting mimics, I was lucky there and managed to just hit that canister, but you want to stay behind cover if you can. And ideally you want to spot them before they spot you, but that can be pretty difficult. So if you come across structures like this, there's usually a second floor, and here we have one of those sellables, high value sellables, the weather station. So we'll take that with us. There's also a lot of documents in this game. A lot of them are clues to stashes. Now that Glock that we found on top of the canister, that was a stash. So somewhere there's a note that gives you a clue as to where to find that Glock.
My father was a truck driver. He'd be away for long periods of time on inner city routes. I wish he'd been away when the event happened, but it was right around his birthday. We still had unfinished cake in the fridge. Napoleon, his favorite. He taught me to drive when I was very young. We had a lot of fun. My father was the silent type and didn't spend much time with us girls, but driving was something he could share with me. Though we didn't know when or how I'd get a car of my own, I was really looking forward to that day. The freedom. And what do I have to look forward to now? You might be my only hope. No pressure.
So, we didn't really talk too much about anomalies in this mission because we just avoided them. But those wispy things are anomalies. These expanding spheres are what's called reflector anomalies. If you throw a probe into a reflector, it can shoot back at you. Oh, yeah, we just took a pretty big hit from that. Did that on purpose. So you can't probe reflectors, or you can with risk. These cube ones, which you can see the center of it is that tiny distortion that expands. You can probe those, don't get caught in them. When there's anomaly fields, a whole lot of them, and you need to get an artifact from inside, there will be a way in. Just take your time, look around, probe, watch the extents of the anomalies. And in the case of electrical traps, or these anomalies that sound like an electrical shock snapping and you see some lightning, you can use probes. Really be careful, check the extents, and they do have a cooldown. So if you trigger it with a probe, you have maybe a second where you could run through and it won't trigger again. But you got to be really careful with that. Again, there's going to be a way through. You just have to be cautious and look for it. Your detector will... Thought I heard something there. Will increase in frequency, and the light will turn green when you're facing the artifact. It's not necessarily the artifact for your mission. That's one of the things, is you just have to detect all of the artifacts until you find the one that is the objective of your mission. So there's only a couple anomalies back here near the entrance. One's there. But we'll climb up that tower and get the crate that's up there before we head back. A lot of Into the Radius is about patience and planning. You can do it in a kind of run and gun style, parts of it, the combat, but things like the anomaly fields, you really just have to take your time. And things go much better when you plan your missions.
This is UNPSC emergency guidance recording L1-61. If you are listening to this, you are most likely suffering from one or more of the following conditions: a sense of displacement, disorientation, memory loss, ataxia, and visual auditory hallucinations. Please.
So if you exit or try to exit through a different part of the mist, it will teleport you to a random outskirt of the current map. You need to exit by the paths if you want to go somewhere expected. Like back to base is here. If I look at the map, we are right there. All right. Our M1 is white, which means we've accomplished that mission, so we're going to head back to base. So, these are tutorial footsteps. There's actually an artifact called a steps artifact that if you hold, it will make these types of steps. I think the intention was that you could use them to map your path in and out of anomaly fields, but no one really uses them for that. They're just sellables. But this is part of the kind of in-game tutorial. So once you've returned with your mission objective, you want to click delivery, select the mission, and then find the item, which can be tricky sometimes. Throw it in the cabinet and complete. So that gives us $1,500 bucks and gives us security level 1. So it's telling us to go do more training. We're not going to do that right now, but we can't actually buy anything, I think, until we do the training, right? So we can't sell anything either. But the headlamp, you want to prioritize that at the next security level. That's a must-have. You want to get the gas mask pretty much as fast as you can, as well as the helmet. If a mission says you need protection, you want to have that gas mask, because that's what that means in the mission description. It's going to be really hard to get through without taking a lot of damage if you don't have that gas mask. So we can't sell things right now because it's asking us to go do the training, but we will sell this because it's a sellable. We will sell this because we don't need extra flashlights. The spotting scope is just not that useful, but to each their own. Maybe you'll find it useful. Again, a lot of people have firearm collections in this game. Lately, I've been getting a little more pragmatic and just selling the weapons I'm not using, because we already have the PM that we took on that mission, but now we've got another 2 PMs. Start a stack of documents. So what does this say? Yeah, I don't know what this is. You can toss things in the fire or on the fire, I think, to get rid of them, or you used to be able to. There it goes, because it can get pretty cluttered in the base here. So there's our Glock in red condition, which means we can't repair this. We have to use the repair locker, but we'll put that there, and we have a magazine for that somewhere. Throw this in the fire for now. That's for the PM. There's our Glock magazine. Oh, look at this model. Huh, curious. So we'll repair those and probably switch over to the Glock. Otherwise, we just have a bunch of magazines for the PM. And then this is for the AK-74, again, in red condition. We don't have all of the equipment for weapon cleaning, so I may do another video on that. I have a video on it for the PCVR version. And, you know, there's some parts of the tutorial are about that here in the game. But basically, if the weapon is in yellow condition, which one of these might be, yeah, you can use a toothbrush and some oil. Oil's in blue canisters that you spray on. You spray it on, you brush it with the toothbrush until it comes out of the yellow into the blue. And then when it's in the blue, there are rolls of paper towels that you use as patches with a ramrod, and you clean out the barrel to get it to full condition out of the blue. But if it's in the red, like this Glock, your only option is to go back to the locker that we turned in our mission at and select repair, put the item in here, and it'll give you a price to repair it. We also have this booth where we can restore our health for a price, as well as our stamina or something. It depends what's depleted. So it's usually cheaper to do that than using med injectors. There are other ways to improve your health, what's called a regen artifact. So lots to learn in the game, but we've got the first mission done. We're not going to do the training now. I'll leave it at that. Like I said, if you have any tips and tricks of your own for Into the Radius, leave all that good stuff in the comments. If you haven't already, take a minute to click the S in the corner to subscribe. Look at that. I totally missed the shotgun that was just sitting on top of the computer there. So you can put some shells on the side there. Let's open that up. We'll load it, and you can store one long weapon over your shoulder, and you can store a second long weapon on your backpack. So now we've got the shotgun and our Glock. We just have to get some more ammo for them, fix them up. Oh, there's some more ammo. So there we go. Welcome, explorers. The zone is a harsh place. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.